Alrighty, so we got Brendan Allen versus Karl Roberson. So Karl Roberson, he's a southpaw. He's comes from that kickboxing background. Looks to make reads early. He's got a nice head kick that he sets up quite well. Nice snapping jab at distance, and a nice counter too as well. Definitely give him the advantage on the feet. I think, yeah, it's kind of a tale of two fighters here. So Brendan Allen obviously wants to get it to the ground. He looks to push you back to the fence with his stand up, just so he can clinch or shoot. You know, his punching technique isn't great. If it's on the feet for 15 minutes, it's absolutely going to favour Karl Roberson. But yeah, the ground is where Brendan Allen wants it. He gets that body lock in the clinch. He looks to get the outside leg reap from there, get you to the mat. He doesn't really defend takedowns coming back. Like, he doesn't mind being on the mat or being on his back. You know, we'll sit down into a guillotine when when his opponent's posture's broken. He's got good reversals, so that's why he's so comfortable off his back, because he knows he can get back to his feet or get back on top. He's got an aggressive guard. You know, his guard can be passed when he's attacking leg locks or, you know, submissions from bottom. But in general, yeah, he looks to get it to the mat. You know, on top, he has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's quick to take the back when you give it to him. In guard or, you know, in mount, he'll look for hard elbows, cut his opponent on bottom. Off his back for Karl Roberson, he looks to be patient on bottom and then explode off bottom or an inferior position in a scramble or whatever. But yeah, just in general, he doesn't really have too much off his back. Yeah. But yeah, so what do you call it? On the mat for Roberson, a few things he does that could get him in trouble in this one. He has his overhook that he'll hang on to on bottom. Just like trying to get back to his feet, he'll hang on to that overhook. He's pretty much asking to get arm triangled. Brendan Allen will definitely be looking for that. You know, when he does get takedowns of his own, and when he does get opponents on the mat, he can get a little over-aggressive, just trying to pass guard or get into mount too quickly, and he can lose position and end up on bottom. He'll also stick his neck out when his posture is broken, so, you know, Brendan Allen will definitely be looking for that guillotine there. How these guys win fights? For Roberson, he has really good leg kicks, you know, when his opponent's a southpaw. But yeah, for Brendan Allen, he has good scrambles. He's good at creating a grappling environment in his fights and getting people to fight his preferred fight. How these guys lose fights? So for Brendan Allen, he's quite hittable. Head doesn't move off the center line. Got very predictable forward movement. He seems to slow marginally in high-paced grappling fights, but, you know, his technique kind of saves him at the end of the day. But, you know, at the pace that he fights, it's understandable, but he does slow a little bit. For Karl Roberson, how he loses fights. So, you know, if you chain wrestle him, the walls will eventually come down. The takedowns will get easier and easier as the fight goes on. Seems to have poor fight IQ in grappling situations. Kind of engages in the grappling when he probably shouldn't and has the advantage on the feet. Poor get-ups. You know, as I said before, he uses his athleticism, you know, more than his technique or whatever, to time explosions to get him off bottom. But just in general, yeah, he doesn't have the greatest get-ups. And yeah, all three losses of his are from submission, so Brendan Allen is a submission guy. He's going to be definitely looking for that, so it's something he has to watch out for at all times. So path to victory for these two. So for Karl Roberson, obviously keep it on the feet, leg kicks, and high kick at distance. But yeah, so for the high kick, he has to defend it instead of looking for a takedown of his own, really. He kind of just has to get the guard up, or else he's going to get his head knocked off. For Brendan Allen, look to create a grappling environment. Heavy pressure from the start of the fight, just to kind of set the tone that you're going to clinch up quite often. How I see the fight playing out, so yeah, kind of sped through the breakdown of this one. Pretty obvious what's going to happen. You know, it's couldn't name probably a more quintessential striker versus grappling fight. Brennan is exactly the type of opponent that Karl Roberson has had trouble with in his career. You know, early, Brennan's going to be coming forward, both landing a few shots until inevitably they clinch or Allen shoots. And then I think the fight will hit the mat eventually. I wouldn't even be surprised at a Karl Roberson takedown. Because, yeah, as I said before, poor fight IQ in grappling situations. And I think not long after that, probably Brendan Allen finds a submission, either a guillotine or arm triangle. I'm not too worried about Allen getting caught like on the feet, because Carl's good striking, but he's not a huge puncher. He's only got 2 KOs in his 12 fights, so yeah, not a huge puncher. He obviously does have a little power, and if he hits you with that head kick, he's definitely going to put you out, but and Brendan Allen is hittable, but I just think he'll be able to survive enough to get into the clinch, and then Roberson's fight IQ will carry Brendan Allen from there. Alright, so let's have a look at the lines. Alright, so I think the line is about accurate. I think the line's closing up a little bit, but I do believe Allen should be a slight favourite, as he is at the moment. I think around $1.72, $1.74, that kind of range is about correct. So we're looking at minus 130, minus 135. I think that line's about correct. If Allen moves up to about a pick'em, maybe I'd consider betting him, but I'm pretty happy to stay away from this fight in my opinion. It's just a weird fight. I have a feeling there's going to be a weird sequence that finishes it, in my opinion, but that's just the feeling I have. So these guys are both of them are pretty untrustworthy to stick to the game plan and, do what they're supposed to do. So I don't really trust either of them, honestly. I think Allen does win. I think he gets it to the mat, finds a submission eventually. Karl Roberson makes a mistake. Yeah, I see Allen submission, but I'm not confident. I do think he should win this if they both stick to their respective game plans. But yeah, I think Allen by submission. If you got to pick him, maybe I'd consider a bet on Brendan Allen.